I think we're ready. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle. You've reached my Flosstube channel, Farm Girl. I have a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to dig right in because this is the second time I filmed this video because the first time it was 2.5 hours and editing that was not going to happen. So I'm going to try really hard to do minimal editing. Do I always say that? I always say that. I'm going to start right away with giveaways so we can move on into our regularly scheduled program. First I have and I'll be honest, I haven't left the house in 4 weeks, so I have not mailed out giveaways. They're right here from my last probably 2 videos. So you'll just have to be patient with me this time of year. We had a snowstorm last night, and that was that picture that you saw. We are just covered in a blanket of snow. We had over a foot or something like that, around a foot. It was blowing quite a bit, kind of miserable. It's calmed down now, and all the dog poop is covered up, so that's a bonus. So giveaways, these were graciously gifted to me by the designer of Roveris, and I have used random comment picker to draw these names. So let's just get started. The first one is this super cute truck. That one is going to go to, I had 240 entries for that one. That one is going to go to Margaret Lyons. And next, we had 204 entries for Farm. That one is going to Diane Nyman. Number 3, this is the Lighthouse. And these also have charms with them, just great charts. This one is going to go to, I had 185 entries, Go Hogs. And this one is the Bees. That one is going to Vicky Phelan, P-H-E-L-A-N. There were 231 entries for that. And lastly, we have the Summer Charms with a nautical theme. And those are going to Colleen Culver, C-A-L-V-E-I, or Calver, Calver maybe. Okay, so I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm going to put my email down in the description box. You can shoot me an email. Next is a big faux pas by me. This is the first time ever I haven't had someone respond to winning a chart. Well, I went back and watched my video, and I said the charts. I didn't actually say anyone's name who won it. So that was probably why she didn't contact me. Anyways, we're going to try this again. This is going to, and I'm so sorry about that, it's Jacqueline Liebfried, L-E-I-B-F-R-I-E-D. So, Jacqueline, my apologies. And those are Easter Blessings and Sunflower Garden. And those are by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. So thank you. Then next, I have not forgotten. I had a lot of people messaging, asking me if I forgot. I did not forget. It was just a very time-consuming thing to pick the winner of my Advent. And I've already contacted the winner. She knows about it. I just wanted to let you know. And that was Colleen from Stitching with the Sisterlies was the winner of that. So yay, look at those goodies in there. And I'm going to get these out in the mail. What I did is, it was tricky. I went to the last video and I randomly selected someone and then went through every video to look for their comment again, searching for them. And it took, Colleen was actually the 3rd person I selected who finally had commented on every video. So thank you, Colleen. You're awesome. And then we have... First, I would like to thank everyone for participating in the Stitch 9 Challenge and the Stitch 10 and 20. I'm seeing lots of posts coming up. You guys are awesome. So it was required that by February 1st, you had to post I completed my Stitch 9 Challenge pieces. And there were, I think, right around 25 or 30 people that posted that completed that. The hashtag Stitch 9 Challenge has over 5,000 posts. I encourage you, if you're participating in those, or even if you aren't, just to see what everybody's progress is, you can search that hashtag and you can actually follow it. And you might find some people who stitch some things you may be interested in, or that you may be able to stitch along with. I found that really encouraging. So anyways, I did select winners. So I have my big winners. I'm going to save those for the end. And I want to just share with you some of the shop owners and other floss tubers who have graciously donated gifts. So first, I am donating $50 gift card to shop of your choice. And April, May, June Stitcher matched me at $50. Now also gift card to, sorry, I thought I heard dogs barking or coyotes. Okay, so she matched my $50 gift card. She's in the UK, so it's just easier and to do gift cards for when people live all over the place. And then Trisha from 3 Owl Threads, she is graciously donating a 3-month nest egg subscription to her shop, which is you sign up through the nest eggs through her Facebook group, and I will provide that link below. And the nest egg is 5 floss colors, and she goes in alphabetical order. And then you pick one of your hand dyers. So it's either, she may have some new selections now, but it's Weeks, Gentle Arts, and Classic Colorworks. Yes, okay. I always get it confused with Crescent, you know, Crescent, they used to be called Crescent Colorworks. Crescent Color or Crescent Color. Anyways, it's Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Arts. And so you're going to get a 3-month subscription. So 15 threads. That's awesome. And then Julie at Gulf Coast Stitches. She is so awesome. She is giving someone a $30 gift voucher to her online shop. But she's also giving that person a pay it forward, and will give them $30 to give to someone else as a pay it forward, which is like so amazing. Very Julie-esque. I just want to thank you guys all for donating. You guys are awesome and encouraging, and I just appreciate it. It's amazing. Then I had Teresa Kogut contact me, and she wanted to donate some charts for those of you who finished your Stitch 9-2, which is just super awesome. Actually didn't contact any of these people. They contacted me. So, I mean, what a gracious community we have, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. So, Teresa, thank you very much. So, I'm going to start with the charts. These are going to runner-ups. I'm going to name those gift card prizes as soon as I'm done with these. This is just so awesome. I have, first of all, let me make sure I have my completed list. Yes, okay. So, I have and these are going to be your Instagram handles, by the way. I took all these winners off of Instagram and Facebook. So you're going to be listening for your Instagram handle. Okay, first one is this sweet one. It is Peaceful Snow. And that one is going to Cricket Bug, who is Jamie. And next we have Top Hat Sheep. And that one is going to Smurfette Stitches. And next we have Prim Hen in Basket. That one is going to Ladybird Stitcher. And next we have Farm Girl. I love this. I already have it. She did say I could keep whatever I wanted, but I have the ones that I would have kept. I already have. So this is Farm Girl. This is going to It Is Kismet. And this one is For You. So cute. I love this one. I have this one too. That is going to Chick with Yarn. This one is Beautiful Garden. That is so pretty. Veronica, I feel like that's right up your alley. This is going to Senorita Stitches. This is Star-Shaped Snowman. And there's actually a tutorial in the winter or December issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. So you can finish this into a super cute little ornament. This one's going to Keeping Me in Stitches, Ellen. I love that I know most of these people, or that I interact with them regularly on Instagram. This one is Seeks Wool. I love the verse. It's a Proverbs verse. It says, she seeks wool and flax and works with her hands. That's us. And this one is going to Christy, Lady Gator Stitches. And next, oh, this one I picked just for you, Anne. This is going to Anne Shaw, Flying Lessons. I have this one too. I love it. Look at that sheep. I love it. So cute. And then next, this one is going to Dina, Joyful Scene, Half Stitch, Cross Stitch. So thank you guys. And, okay, then $50 gift card winner from me is going to Barb from Lost and Floss. I handpicked her. She didn't even post, in the group, or she didn't post hers, but I did see the video where she showed them on their YouTube video, Barb and Leanne, Lost and Floss. And Barb, I just wanted to say that you are in all of our thoughts and prayers. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to lose such a dear friend of so many years. I mean, you guys are like sisters. You grew up together. And just so sad to hear of Leanne's passing. And boy, is she going to be missed. What a light she was to this community. And just giving you big hugs. So Barb, she is also the one who kind of encouraged me to do another challenge for 2020. So you can kind of thank her for that. They have just been such a joy for me to watch since, you know, over the past year when I found them. I had the pleasure of meeting them both this past October. And Barb, we love you and we just wish you well. And so get in touch with me. I'll have my email below. And the $50 gift card from April, May, June Stitcher. That is going to Lisa's Hoops and Hooks. That is so hard to say. Lisa's Hoops and Hooks. Is that what I said? Okay, so that is where the $50 gift card is going. Then we have the Nest Egg subscription with 3 owl threads is going to Betty Eulin. Betty Eulin. And then lastly, we have the $30 gift card winner, or the $30 credit to Julie's shop, Gulf Coast Stitches. That is going to Jen at Quirks and Stitches. And Jen, you're also going to get another $30 voucher to Gulf Coast Stitches to pay it forward. So I suspect I know who that might go to, but we'll see. Lee, I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, and then that's not all. So then after all those were divvied up between the people who finished the challenge, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people left over. And I didn't want to leave you out. So those are Rose Heck. By the way, I saw, let's see, who was I just watching that you want to give away? I think it was Nicole's Needleworks. So in case you haven't seen that, I'm sure you have. But then Ginger Shull and Bead Girl J, which is Janelyn Martinez. Nani the Stitcher, which is Bonnie. Susan Stetz, S-T-E-T-Z. Flamingo Lady 25, which is Anne. Link is my homeboy, Heather. And Suzette, Primitive Stitcher. I will be making you some little thread keeps. They won't be probably Valentine's ones. But I'm going to make you a thread keep if you'd like one. I mean, I don't want to give it to you if you don't want it. I'm not trying to shove it down your throat, but I'm going to be sending you all a little consolation prize for participating. And I just want to say a big fat thank you to everyone who finished the Stitch 9 challenge and all of you who participated who didn't even finish the Stitch 9 challenge. At least we got some done, and you know, it's a community spirit, and that's what it's more about than anything else. So thank you all. Please send me, when you send me an email, if you could please list what you won in the description box, and then your address in the body of the letter. That would be great. It really helps me sort things out, especially when I have so many things to mail out. So I'm going to put it's farmgirlstitcher@gmail.com. If you could put in the description box the name of the pattern or whatever it is that you won. Colleen, I have your address, so you don't need to worry about it. But everyone else, in the description box, and then in the body of the letter, that's where you'll put your address. Thank you for making that easier for me. Okay, on to, that took 17 minutes just for giveaways. That's crazy. So I'm also, because of the storm we had last night, I'm actually waiting for babies to be born. So Kiki is definitely going to have her babies sometime today, I hope. They generally do it during chore time. So or they actually do it, I do morning chores where I give them water, and then I give them hay, and then in the afternoon I give them some chaff hay and some grain, and then in the evening they get chaff hay and grain and fresh water again. So if you're really regimented about how you feed, they typically will kid during chore time. It's amazing how that works. It's just yeah, it makes life a lot easier, although I still worry. And I was up several times last night checking on her anyways, because I could tell last night at about 10 o'clock that she was having some labor pains because she's stretching and her udder is filling up, and you can tell her babies have dropped and her ligaments are really loose. So those are all really good indicators. And this morning she's looking a little uncomfortable as well. So it'll be definitely today. She cannot go till tomorrow. There's just no way. And I'm hoping for triplets. She's very round right now, but you can never predict because you can't predict how big those babies are going to be. But so far we've had big babies, very nice sized babies. So I suppose she'll be no different. And Joblin, who actually wasn't very big, and I haven't shared this, but she did have triplets. And I think I've mentioned before their mothering instincts aren't the greatest. So she didn't really clean off her second and her third baby, and I got there probably within 30 minutes of them all being born. Once they're born, once the first one starts coming, they pop out babies within 30 minutes and they're done. That's just the nature of animals who are prey animals, because they can't labor around for hours and hours. Otherwise they'd just be dinner to predators. So they tend to have their babies rather quickly, and she just didn't get them cleaned up and they didn't make it, and it was pretty devastating. I take those losses very personally. So obviously it's makes for an anxious, when you start out like that, it is not very reassuring, and it's tough and makes you feel kind of hopeless and like you want to give up. And I'm definitely going to be cutting my herd back again this year. I mean, I don't know that other than checking on her every 10 minutes, I don't know that I could have done anything different, but that was a big loss for me that I really don't want to have to go through again. So I'm really keeping an eye. My voice is really hoarse because I'm so tired. I'm not sick. I'm just tired. So it's been a stressful few weeks, and yeah. So sticking close to home. Again, my days, revolve around chores, and we're doing chores 3 times a day. And it's a lot, but you have to have a passion for it, which I do, and I love it. And then there's Henry. I mean, he's in the why the hell did I get a puppy stage. He's just a little terror, but he's so stinking cute. He brings me so much joy, and he's so cuddly. He just loves to cuddle at night. So when he finally does go to sleep, he's just sweet as can be. Kind of like a 2-year-old. When they're sleeping, they're really sweet, and when they're up, they're terrors. Okay, so anyways, I do have a couple finishes. I know I've had a few people message me wanting to know, let's see, Elaine, I think, asked about it, and a few other people on Instagram, you know, wanted to make sure that when I showed this that I was going to do the dyeing. It took me forever just to get it all finished, and I am going to use some walnut crystals to antique it. So nervous about that, but I used an over-dyed red thread, but I'm just going to follow the directions. And I mean, I'm using everything called for. This is Stacie Nash Merry Christmas Pinky. So I will do that, and when I do it, I will film it and post it here so you guys can see. Okay, and then this was, I'm not sure if this has been released yet. This was a club kit from Dying to Stitch. Someone asked me about, messaged me on Instagram about, I turned them on to club kits from Dying to Stitch, and they wanted to know where else. Kindred Sampler has some. The Silver Needle has a club. I'm just, let's see, Tomorrow's Heirlooms, I believe, has one. Kathy and Nancy, oh my lands, in Illinois. Oh, her shop escapes me. I'm going to scroll it across here. She's got a club, so you can check them out. Whether or not they still have openings this time of year, I'm not sure. You'll have to just go out there and kind of check. I only do Kindred Sampler and the Dying to Stitch clubs right now because they get pricey. And I'm also doing Buttermilk Basin often has, if you're into wool applique, they often have like quilt clubs. So I actually have a quilt of the week. Holy smokes. I didn't really think that one through. That's a pretty significant, that can be pretty pricey. You can't do them all because they're not inexpensive. Let's see. Club kits, I was also asked how much they cost. They can be anywhere from $35 to $100. It just really depends. The ones from Kindred Sampler, you get full skeins. They're large samplers, and so they can be pricey. And the Dying to Stitch club kits, you are kind of nice. They're much more affordable. Not that the Kindred Sampler ones aren't, but they're smalls. So they're projects, this size or less. You're not getting full-on samplers. And then they're giving you enough floss to get the fabric done. They're giving you backing fabric, which I didn't use. I chose a different backing fabric. I just really liked this one. It's a basic gray fabric. And if there's trim, there was trim for this one. I don't remember what it was. And so you get all those things included. So the Dying to Stitch specifically have been averaging $35 to $45. So they have a form on their website that you download, you send in, you need to give your credit card information. And once you commit to the entire year, just so you know. I have a couple other projects. So I've been doing some rug hooking. I'm really enjoying it. I took a class at Straight River Rug Hooking in Owatonna, Minnesota. And it was great. So this was the class piece. I was actually the only one in class because there was a snowstorm that day, but I ventured out anyways. So I had a lot of fun doing this one. I actually ran out of the background fabric so I just need to contact Joyce and see if she's got some more of that, and then I can finish that. But yeah, I feel like this is an excellent practice piece, just to do shapes and learn how to fill them in. I think I did pretty good at not getting it too tight. And then I moved on to a kit that I bought several years ago. I went to a rug hooking kind of like vendor show at a church in Stillwater a few years ago, and I bought some kits there, and I was with my girlfriend Michelle, who is I know her from breeding goats, and she just dug right in and went for it, and I just I just didn't have the confidence to do it. So after taking the class, I went ahead and I cut my strips. I had a wonderful friend Tina who sent me a strip cutter, which is super generous. And I bought a proper frame, and this pattern It's called Old Barn Number 2. It's a series. I think she's got about 12 of them. And for the pattern, it was $30. And then you can buy it kitted up. So you can get all these wools, and she'll send them to you. When I talked to her a couple years ago at that show, she would also cut the strips for you. I think it was no additional charge if you bought the kit from her. But you could email her and let her know. Her shop is here. It's Primitives by Carol Rae, Carol CarolRae.com. And then there's her Gmail if you're interested. This one I was particularly fond of, and apparently it's based on her grandfather's barn, which I thought was really sweet. So I do have another kit from her as well. This is a chair pad. It's 14-inch round. I'm just finishing, so I got the main part done, and I'm just doing the border. So the border is kind of patchworky, but I hadn't gotten my new frame yet, so I was waiting for that. I changed it up a little bit. I thought these were hay bales, and then when I, by looking at the pattern here, well, it turns out they were flowers, and I just had in my mind that they were hay bales, so I made them hay bales, big round bales. I don't know if I love those. I might take them out. We'll see. But I really liked it. I still need some practice. My roof leaves little to be desired, but I feel like my sky is pretty good. My tree is pretty, not so great either, but practice makes perfect. So I'm going to keep at it. I really enjoy it. I can't wait to get it done and give it a steam. I also was able to visit I got out of the shower not too long ago. I was also able to visit another wool shop. It's Karen from, is it Yellow Brick House? Oh, I can't remember her Instagram name now. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it right here. She messaged me and told me about the shop, which I actually was familiar with because I had, like, just a couple weeks before ordered a crane design kit, which is part of my which is part of my 10 and 20. So I was familiar with the shop, but she said that you have to go visit. It's amazing. And it is. I mean, I've never seen so much wool. She's got more wool than Buttermilk Basin. In fact, she told me Stacie back in the day before she started designing her own fabric and wool lines used to get her wool from her. So she's been in the industry for a very long time. She's very accomplished. She was so lovely. She doesn't have real shop hours. So she has a pole barn on her shed, which she's turned into this amazing, or she's got a pole barn on her property, which she's turned into this absolutely amazing shop. And you could just schedule an appointment time to go and shop, which is what I did. She has great wool prices, like great wool prices. I'll post a link to her website as well. And so it was fantastic. I bought loads of goodies, which I shared on my Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Farm Girl Loves Goats. I do a lot of stories more than I do post somewhat regularly, maybe every couple weeks or so, but I do a lot of stories. So if I go and visit someplace like that, I'll show you my haul there. That's usually where I show my haul. That's why I kind of don't do it as much on my YouTube, because my videos go on and on and on anyways. Okay, so I have like a 4 or 5 minute video. I'll throw that at the end of this video so you can see the shop for yourself. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I have a series that I've had for a while, and I'm trying to make a dent in some of my kits. So this is the Farmhouse Woolens through the year, and they're all little seasonal houses. There's one for every month, and they go on, you mount them on the back of this background piece. And so I have it all kind of fused together, and I just need to do the decorative stitching, and then you bind it just like it's just a mini quilt. And then you stick your monthlies on there, and you can change them out every month. And I have a little stand that it's going to go on, so I just haven't had a chance to do the stitching on that yet. So then once that's done, then the houses will go on. So I have two I've started the February house. So I'm still hoping to get it done before Valentine's. We'll see. And so I just have, you can barely see my stitching. And I have that done. I just need to do a little decorative stitching, a little feather stitch along the roof here. And then I have the pieces for the center block all cut out. And I find that if I can do it this way, I can like fuse the stuff on the heart. It's a little bit easier to work with versus this big block. And then I do put SF 101 on the back because otherwise wool will warp as you work with it and kind of lose its shape a little bit. So I like to do that to give it some stability because this wool just, it's such kind of a loose weave and it'll move around on you. So I do that, and that really helps keep everything together. And then, so then this is all fused, and that will get fused onto the back as well. And then these take no time at all, really. Then I have June cut out as well. And this is the June block. It's so cute. And it's like a little willow tree that you use, you know, you do some stitching, do like a chain stitch for the branch, and then little lazy daisies for all the leaves. And I haven't started any of that yet, but that's so cute. So I'll get that done. And again, that was the farmhouse woolens through the year. Then I have my little, this is the Center Circle Woolen Mats monthly series. Stacie is all about the monthly series. So, I do the penny mats for a little tray that I keep on my stitching spot. And this is just the second one I think that I've completed. Love it. That's so pretty. And here is mine. I changed it up a little bit. I put pink around. I had to make it a little bit smaller to fit in the tray. So I loved the pink versus the darker background. I love the pink. So pretty. And so this was pretty simple. Those are just French knots, a blanket stitch, more French knots, a little button for the eye. So cute. Love that. Then I did these 3 little pillows. These are called, and these are all Buttermilk Basin, 3 Hearts Pillow. And this was a kit, and it came with everything except the backing fabric. So for those, oh, where'd they go? Oh, here they are. Here's the first one. And it calls for buttons for the eyes. I just did French knots. And then same thing with the scissors. I didn't get the button pack. Or there is no button pack. They're kind of, they don't have one specifically for this. French knots for the little thimble. So that one. And then I backed it with this pretty fabric. And then the next one is this little basket. And again, I did French knots and the feather stitch in the heart. And I did put buttons there. Lots of French knots here. A feather stitch. And I did a French knot for the eye. This was really fun. These are really quick. Believe it or not, you can get them done in an evening. And that one is also backed in the same. So those 2. And then I have the last one is a heart. And I just did a little bit of stitching there. I put a button on. And then this is just a little bit of seam binding ribbon on there. This beautiful plaid, love it. And then this is the same fabric, but it's in pink. So there they are. And then I have them displayed. I got this little bucket. And it's got a little hole in the back of it to hang on the wall. I got it on clearance at Buttermilk Basin. And it was right after Christmas. This was the only one I saw there. I don't think they have any more. And I keep this by my stitching spot. And I just change it out seasonally. So for Christmas, I had a Plum Street sampler. I think it's Homestead Christmas or Farmstead Christmas or Farmhouse Christmas. The one with the big barn and the horse in the pasture there. So I had that in there with some vintage grungy candy canes, primitive candy canes, and some greenery. So cute. And then just a little bit more simple for Valentine's Day. I love it. It's so sweet. Okay, and then, so again, that one was 3 Hearts Pillows. So I knocked back a lot of my kits. And then I have one more, and this is Hearts, Needle Keep, and Hanging Heart, another Buttermilk Basin. And so this is a little pillow, little heart pillow, which is here. And this one did come with the flannel backing fabric. And so I used buttons for the center of the flower there. And more French knots, more French knots. I like them to be kind of big and chunky here, so I think I wrapped those like 4 or 5 times. But that was super fun. The directions are pretty clear. Some of these can be a little bit harder. This needle book, the directions weren't great for this, I'll be honest. I struggled with it a little bit, but I got it together with just what made sense to me. But so it's a little needle book and it folds. And so here's the front. Oops. So there's the front. More French knots, little button. And then the back is just a feather stitch, and it closes with some seam binding ribbon. And this was a kit, had all the wool. You added buttons and the seam binding ribbon. And the kit also came with the fabric for the big heart. Okay, so then when you open it up, you have a little place for needles. And the center is for some scissors. It's got a little pocket there. And I added another seam binding ribbon to tie your scissors on because it'll fall out otherwise. And then this has 3 little, and I use some bone rings that I got from Shipwreck Beads. Everybody asks me every time I show these. So they came from Shipwreck Beads. They have a great online shop. They're in Washington State. I was there, but they have a huge selection of bone. And so these are actual bone. And so they have a really nice weight to them, and they're just really quality. And renewable resources. Instead of plastic rings, get yourself some bone. And yeah, and then you just fold it up and tie that, and it's so cute. I love it. So those are, oh, and then I have one more. I got this kit at Kindred Sampler. It's in a book, A Day at Sunnybrook by Maggie Bonomi. But at one time, I think it may have been a club kit or something, and so was available. It's also available just as a standalone chart with the kit. The buttons come with the kit from Kindred Sampler. Word to the wise, if you want it the same length as mine, you're going to have to add about 50 extra buttons. I used the buttons from the kit, which were new, and then I added, see, these jars are, almost all of them are filled with buttons except for that great big one. So I wanted to use some of my vintage buttons. So there are different sizes. I tried to keep them all 2-hole, but when you intersperse the antique buttons, it really kind of grunges up and makes the new buttons look vintagey as well. And it's just, the weight to them are amazing. But they're fantastic. So it's a little chatelaine. And again, so here's a little pocket. I have a little pair, there's a little fuzzy on there. So again, there's a little silk ribbon here to tie your scissors in so they don't fall out. And then the back is just wool. And then the other half is this cute little calico fabric. What is going on here? Oh, just this cute little calico fabric. And then you get this adorable, no, did the key, I don't think the key came with it. It may have. I don't remember, to be honest. Actually, I don't know. I think it did. And then this is velvet. And so you just wear this around your neck, and you can keep the buttons will pull your hair, just FYI. But you can put that around your neck and hold your scissors and stick your needle in there. I think it's just so cute. It's so charming. I love this. So I finished this one a while back, but with Valentine's Day, I thought I'd show you. Excuse me. All right. So again, that was, I believe it's A Day at Sunnybrook by Maggie Bonomi is the book that's in. There's lots of projects in that book. Okay, and then I wanted to, so this arrived on my doorstep. It's Charting My Needle Art Legacy. It came from Amazon, but it was, there was no card in it. And there's no name in it. So if, I would love to know who sent it to me so I can give you a proper thank you. But thank you to whoever sent this to me. So this is by Artist Design. Again, it's available on Amazon. I looked it up there. And it's fantastic. It's not like a yearly calendar. It's more of a journal of your needlework. So there are some, a lot of it is journaling areas you can see here, but there's a question to answer. So it's not like, so what is your favorite color palette? What is your first memory of seeing a needle and thread? So just some things for you to journal and pass down as kind of your stitching legacy to whoever is going to get your needlework. It's kind of reminiscent of A Quilter's Legacy. If you've seen that book, I bought that from, I have a copy of 1 and 2, and then I bought, I think there's 1, 2, and 3, and I bought those for my mother-in-law, and those are great to have because she used them and she kept pretty good track of who she gave them to. She put a picture in there, and it's just a nice treasure to have, especially when we got a pile, when she passed and we had this pile of quilts. I was able to go through that book and find them, and I didn't remember one of them, but I had given her the fabric for it, and so I love that. So this is, it's great. So thank you to whoever sent that to me. Okay, and then I have just a teensy bit of haul that I'll show you that it came yesterday. So I had to order a skein of floss for Winter Rose Manor, which I'm working on now, and I'll show you that in my whips. And that's all I needed, that one floss. But I couldn't let that floss travel alone. So I have a pattern that's been calling to me. I think I showed this during my Vlogmas. It's so pretty. It's a reflet de soie. Reflet de soie. It's close. So, and this is G, is it Légère? 1898. This house is amazing. I'm going to save that for last, but the alphabet is very pretty. I know I said I hate alphabets that swap every single color, but these are rather large, but they're also what, I don't know why I'm drawn to them. I hate stitching them, but the other thing I love about this, someone recently messaged me on Instagram and asked me about samplers and what they could start with. I don't really consider myself a sampler stitcher per se. I've stitched a few of them, but they do call to me, but some of them I won't touch for certain elements. If it's got a big, a big border that goes all the way around and is the same on all 4 sides and it has a lot of detail to it, I'm probably not going to stitch it because I know myself and I'm never going to complete it. So what I love about this makes it doable. There's one band here, it's different here, and it's different on the sides. So the top and the bottom are the same, so you don't get like ridiculously bored with it, and it's not overly complicated border. And then the alphabets actually go fairly quick, and then there's all the beautiful motifs that I will save till the end. And so those are kind of my desserts when I'm stitching. This one is so pretty. This, just so you know, when she does her patterns, she posts the antique on the pattern. So yours will look a little brighter, a little different. So I ordered some fabrics. I have a good stash of fabrics, but I had nothing that was super calling to me. And plus I was placing an order. So I wanted to see what I had here. So I got a 36 count Wren. This is a picture this plus. So that's a really good color. And I think that'll be a pretty nice neutral background. We'll see. I wanted something a little bit creamier too, just in case. And I do have, I think it's called Chantilly Lace, which is a Legacy. I'm trying to stick to a 36 count in, it's not Legacy. Did I say Legacy? Sometimes what comes out of my mouth, it's like my brain just is on autopilot. So I realize people correct me a lot. Sometimes I just don't realize it, that I say it, and I don't catch it when I'm editing. Otherwise, I just try and edit it out. But what did I say? I said it was, it's Chantilly Lace. It's by, it's a Lakeside Linen. But it's in a 40 count. And I find 40 count and Lakeside Linen not as pleasurable for me to stitch because the weave is so tight and I really prefer to stitch in hand. We just had a conversation about this yesterday. Stitching in hand for me is about 4 times faster than I was stitching before Flosstube. My goal isn't necessarily to, well, my goal is to stitch all the things. I have quite a few things that are on my agenda to stitch in my lifetime. So if I can stitch them 4 times faster, and it's just less cumbersome not to have a hoop and all that and a stand, and it's more mobile for me. And it's easier for me just to pick up. I don't have to move if I, need to stitch in a different area. It's holding a hoop sometimes. I was getting cramp in my hand, and so I got a Lowry stand, and I can still stitch two-handed, but I will say that stitching in hand is still, when you're using this sewing method, is still probably twice as fast, at least, than sewing double with two-handed, in my opinion. And I am not a fast in-hand stitcher. I have seen some people really whip it out, and they're probably twice as fast as I am. So but I definitely find it more enjoyable. But when you don't have your fabric stretch so taut, it makes seeing the holes on smaller count. Like, I don't know how Nicole does it, stitching on like the 46 count. I do not use a magnifier. I don't enjoy that. For me, when I stitch at night, it's to sit and relax after I've had a busy day. And I don't want to have to struggle with looking through a magnifier and doing all that jazz. So I just wear cheaters, and I wear number 3s. And that is enough at this point to get me through. And it's just, it's how, and I stitch a little bit differently. Like, whenever I've had someone trying to teach me, and I think a couple of them were probably left-handed, that's why. I think Nicole might be left-handed. So they start from the bottom left-hand corner. And I stitched actually the same way I do when I had a hoop or a Q-snap. And I start from the bottom left-hand corner. I go up to the right. Here's a confession, whether I'm using overdyes or not. If I can stitch in a row, I will, even with an overdyed. There are no rules. And come back. I did read just recently on one of the sampler Facebook pages, someone said historically the accurate way to stitch a sampler historically is to do 1x at a time. But that doesn't mean you have to. I mean, you do you, boo. It's your sampler. I stitch like that. I have tried like side by side, even within the same project sometimes. I actually did it on on one of the projects that I will show you. And I've tested it to see if I do one at a time, the variegation versus stitching the way I typically do, which is doing half and then come back and crossing it. The variegation, it's really, you notice the top thread, and there's really not much of a difference, to be honest. Unless if it's just if it's just variations of the same color of floss in different intensities, you're not going to notice it as much. If it fades into different colors, if it's that kind of floss, you're obviously going to notice it. But it's personal preference. Don't let anybody tell you different. So, okay, so that was my first linen. The other 36 count I got is a 36 count Tyco. And it's showing up a little bit more beige, but it actually, to me, it's really yellow. And I don't know if it will go well with this or not. I did kit it up with the silks, and there really weren't that many. I'm missing a few. And this is a Soie d'Alger Vera Soie. And so this, I just took them out of the bag. So very pretty. Like I said, I'm missing a few, so I'm going to have to pick those up. Wednesday, I'll be at Stitchville, so I hope to get them then. But aren't those luscious? So pretty. So I'm thinking I might try this one. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I'm going to try that Chantilly. We will see. And I actually think the model, I think it said 32 count. But, and then I just got myself a piece of, I'm not sure why I bought this. I'm not really sure why I bought it in a 32 count. But I wish I would have gotten it in 36. I think this would be a good color too. But this is just a Zweigart Platinum. A good all-purpose neutral. Okay, and when you buy the Zweigart, their base colors, it is definitely much less expensive than buying hand-dyed linens like the Lakeside or Weeks, just so you know. Okay, so that's what I got for stitching. I got a couple accessories. I bought a couple thread keeps. These were released in November and I still hadn't picked them up yet. And I haven't been to a couple shops, couldn't find them. So I just ordered them online. There's actually some new ones out now. I think some additions to the Schoolgirl sampler or to the Schoolgirl line. But I love these. So this is the Button Queen, and this is like vintage Christmas Day or something like that. Or maybe it's vintage a Merry Christmas. I'm not sure. But so I have those to add to my collection. And then this is where it pays to know people. I got a Kindred Stitcher Bag. So Lisa was showing these in her stories and she only had 2. And I'm like, girl, I need one of those. And she's like, you have it. So sorry, not sorry. But she does not have any more fabric. She posted one and it went lickety split. Love this. So very pretty aqua blue on the inside, and she puts this sweet little safety pin with some matching buttons, and then the back isn't that pretty? I love it. So thank you, Lisa. Lisa also gave me my cup, my mug. She does not pay me to advertise. Okay. Oh, I saw these on, I was watching Emily C. from Eclectic Possessions. She has a great idea. So she ordered for floss holders. They are much less expensive than buying the thread drops, which I have some of those too, but those can be pricey. And so she suggested, which I thought was just a great idea. They're these kind of tag board. They're very heavy duty, super, super sturdy. Probably is twice as thick as those floss cards that they come on. And I need to do something different with all my overdyes because it makes me crazy having them in all the bags. And I have just decided that I really like having them on rings like this. I ordered some of these bigger rings because I find I use these. I put my floss a lot of times. So these are from LaDonna Sampling of Memories. And she puts a 1-inch ring on those, which are generally fine unless I have projects that are bigger. And then I like to put a bigger floss ring. So what's really nice is you can just pop these off. She's just got, you know, one jump ring on there. And you can just slide that off and slide it right on to a bigger ring. And which is really nice. I just actually ordered a couple more from her. And this time I got them in necklace style. Lisa Kindred Stitcher gave me this as well because of my love for everything British. I think that these came from Dying to Stitch. I could be wrong, but I know Dying to Stitch sells ones like this. Maybe the Attic does too. They actually have someone that makes them, so this is actually soldered in there. But kind of similar style. I don't know if they have them in the thread keeps, but I love the necklace idea. I wear this a lot. It's the only one that I have. It's the only piece of jewelry I ever wear. I don't even wear a wedding ring because the goats like to nibble on it. I don't wear this out in the barn because the goats would like to nibble on it. But it's just so pretty. It's the perfect length. So I ordered a couple from LaDonna like this. And then I can take any of my thread keeps and put them on the necklace if I want and swap them out. So I thought that was a great idea for me. And I did a tutorial on making some of these thread keeps, and I've been bombarded the last couple days because those are only on my story for 24 hours and then they disappear, and I did not save it to I didn't save it to my profile like I do sometimes. And I've had people commenting on some of my YouTube videos asking me to post them. So I will we'll see how long this video is. Maybe I'll stick it at the end, or I'll do it some other time. But I also have, I just have this, happen to have it sitting here. This is from Shepherd's Bush. So I'm pretty sure this is one of their charts in it. Very cute. And they have these little beads. This one is a little scissor fob. But again, if you're a jewelry maker, it's just a little ring on here, and you can swap them out. You can just take this off, put them on here. If you need to, you can add jump rings. They're great if you don't want to take the time to make them all yourself, but you want to make them a little bit more flexible, you can do that. So I am going to be putting all of my overdyes on these cards and then finding some place to hang them. So I bought these rings. I bought them on Amazon, and I bought 3 boxes of them. So they came like a dozen to a box. They came like this. And I think these are these 3-inch, and they're bookbinder rings. So that's how you order. And then these are just craft gift tags, and it's craft, K-R-A-F-T, because of the type of paper. It's the type of paper they are. And so these are, I don't even remember how much they are, but I ordered, mine did anyways. Mine came with just this little hole, which isn't going to be big enough. I'm not going to use these. And I just have a 1/2-inch punch, and then I'm going to use a 1/4-inch hole punch to repunch those. But you may be able to buy them with a little bit bigger holes. So thanks for the idea for that, Emily. I appreciate you sharing that. Oops. Okay, and then I just want to touch on stitch-alongs super quick. So so Barb and Leanne were hosting, before she passed, they were hosting a sale for Baby It's Cold Outside. So I was going to join that sale in memory of Leanne, but I've already stitched it. It's here. And to be honest, it doesn't remind me of Leanne. It reminds me of Lisa Kindred Stitcher, because I did a stitch along with her with that. I have a chart which very much reminds me of Leanne. So in her honor, that is what I'm going to be starting on the 14th. I actually have it kitted downstairs, so I'm just going to insert a picture here of the chart. It's called Wintertime. I bought this because I saw it on their Flosstube channel on Lost and Floss. And she stitched it and finished it beautifully. And then Barb stitched it. And I think the tutorial that they did on that one, and I believe it involved some ruching, it was a while ago, was also on Barb's Wintertime when she stitched it. And Barb is now stitching Autumn Time. So to me, that is the chart that reminds me of her. So I had mentioned that I was going to participate in that, and I've decided I'm going to stitch that in Leanne's memory because that's what reminds me of her. But I know Juliet Gulf Coast Stitches was selling charts. I'm not sure if she's got them back in stock. I know they sold out very quickly for $5, and the charts were donated by Beth Twist, which I thought was incredibly generous. It is a heartstring samplery pattern. And so I'm looking forward to seeing all of those people and all of those charts being stitched in her honor. And so if you have already stitched it, because I know we did a stitch along a couple years ago when Lisa and I and and Linda Jo from Pretty Southern as well stitched that one, and Jessica. So if you stitch that with us, maybe you want to stitch Wintertime with me, I'm happy to have you join me in that. I also had mentioned that we were going to start Harriet Elizabeth Coe, and I kind of let that one drop off because I didn't check with Brenda first. And so after I said, hey, let's do a stitch along, the pattern sold out everywhere pretty quickly, and her shop was closed. She closes from Christmas to the 3rd week in January so that she can do inventory. She's getting ready for market. She can do taxes and get all that jazz together. So it is not out of print. A lot of people messaged me asking me if it was out of print, and it's not. It's available. You can get it through Brenda. Her online shop is countrystitchesonline.com. And she's now open again. So you'll be able to find it there. And here it is. It's a small sampler. So if you, with a pretty simple border, and it's pretty repetitive, which is nice, easy. It is not even, but once you get the outline done, it's pretty easy to go back in and fill in the little flower buds here. So, and it's pretty simple otherwise. And it's not a big pattern. It calls, I think it's like, so it's 163 stitches wide and 180 high. And that's not large at all. It was maybe 10 by 12 or not even that big, maybe in a stitch on a 30 count. I am doing mine on, oh boy, I don't remember. It looks, I think it's a 32 count. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's see if there's a tag or anything in here. There's not. Nope. I'm not sure what I'm stitching this on. I think it's an R&R. It might be a Winter's Brew. But here's my start. So I just got my outline done of my border, and I'm going back. And Nicole at Nicole's Needlework is stitching this as well, or she had talked about stitching this. And she's just a little bit farther than I am. And so let's do this for February. This one shouldn't really take long. And if it's a really good first sampler. I had mine, here are the colors. They're beautiful. And my favorite colors are like these aqua blues and the reds together. They get me. They just get me. And so there's my favorite colors right there. And I had mine kitted up by the Attic. And I think Carolyn kitted up personally herself because I talked to her on the phone. They do an awesome job because when they kit it up for you, they put it on a ring for you. And they put a tag telling you what it's for. So this is awesome. So this size would be good for a floss too. These are, the ones that I bought are a little bit bigger. They're about the tag size, so, but that would be a good option too. But I love that they do that. It was fantastic. And I ordered my fabric from there and my floss. So that was fantastic. So you can join me in that. I'm just going to be posting on that with the hashtag Harriet Elizabeth Coe Sal. And I haven't worked any more on it. So you have a little bit. It's not going to be something I'm going to finish up right away. I have another project that I'm going to be finishing before I start this. I'm hoping it'll be, or before I go back to this, it'll just be probably another week. I stitch like crazy this time of year because it's kind of a stressful time with kitting season. And, sorry, just moving my cord there. Get it out of my way. Had to plug in. So when I'm stressed, I stitch. And people are always like, oh, you stitch so fast. It's probably how stressed I'm feeling. And I looked back on Instagram, and last year I finished a Tree of Life sampler, and I stitched the entire Love Never Fails sampler in 4 weeks. 'Tis the season. Okay, so that was number 1 of my whips. And so I'm gonna get some coffee, take a potty break, because we're moving. Whip number 2, in no particular order. Ugh. Okay, this one was a Mania start quite a few years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. And it is out of the, let's see. It is, so it was from 2017. So this is out of the 2016 winter issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It is a chart by the Primitive Hair. I think it's now a standalone chart, but if you have, if you can't get this anymore, but if you have it or digital subscription, that's where you'll find it. And this is, I'm stitching this on a 36 count cream linen. I'm using 2 strands because I feel like it calls for 2 strands. That's okay to stitch on 36 count. It's kind of personal preference. Usually I use 1, but I'm using 2 on that. So that's it for that one. And I'm just using DMC, which is what is called for. This is Forget Me Not sampler. It is no longer available. This is a Brenda Gervais. This was like a market exclusive back in 2013. And I have a this was a Mania start, so I just have a little tiny start on it. That's it. And that should be quick if I can get back to it. It's not huge. The threads are really pretty. They're very kind of muted colors. Not pretty. And I have this in a cute little bag that Marlene sent me from Stitching by the Lake. And then next, is, this was another Mania start at one time. This is Heartstring Samplery, Once Upon a Summer Housewife. I love these. I have a few of them, which you'll see. And I have a very meager little start. That is it. And that is just the little bird that's right here. And that one actually wouldn't take too terribly long either. So I need to get, I'm going to say that to everyone. I need to get back to this. And then both of these are in project bags I made myself. And the inside is, because it's a farm scene, the inside is vegetables. The next one, it's an oldie. It is my oldest whip. And the reason why is because I didn't buy the floss kit, which I wish I would have, the accessory pack, which would have had all the silk threads in it. I'm regretting that decision now because, let me just show you my legend. It's a big fat mess. I wrote it in pencil, which was dumb, and it's a mess. And it requires way too much thought to convert everything to DMC, which is what I did. And why I didn't pull it and put it in with this kit, I don't know. It just makes me crazy. It's so super cute though. I would finish it. It is not a give up because someday I'm going to put the time and effort into it. But that is my progress. And I love it. It's super cute. I just need to finish it. But that one is going to take some, it's going to be a process. And I want my oranges to match that I used for the pumpkins, and I didn't do a great job of recording what I used. This is a Stacie Nash kit. It was an exclusive class kit. I'm just going to show you all the goodies that are in there. This was given to me by Tina, and it's so sweet. Let me just find it. There are quite a few components to this one. It's a little sewing tray and needle book. And you actually make that box, which I'm really excited to do that. And it's got all the stuff in here to do it. And I have just the teeny tiniest Mania start again, which is that flower. That's it. So the colors for that are very pretty. I don't know if this one has been released or not. I haven't seen these in a while. They're not too many. And then my little thread keep. Oh, look at that little lamb. This is from LaDonna at Sampling of Memories. And it's got a little key charm and a sweet little button. And this is her farm series. I think that's still available on her website. One is by the Scarlet House. On Coverlet Court. This was a club kit. I think that this one is available now. Look at the pretty thread. And then I have this on, this is one of the schoolgirl, these are by Kelmscott Designs, or Whimsical Edge, which is by Kelmscott. And this was a Mania start too, like a couple years ago. And that's as far as I got. But this one, which has these super cute little scissors and fob in there. And this came from Nikki's Creations. She's an Italian designer. You can find her on Etsy. And every once in a while, she's got a Facebook group. And every once in a while, she'll just make these little things and sell them. They're very limited. So I snagged one of these. It's just sweet. Really nice findings, and then the spool. So sweet. Okay, and then in here, this is Falling Star Primitives, Independence Day. I have this one stitched. I am working on this one, and they're very small. It shouldn't take long. It's ridiculous that I have them still as works in progress. This is a 32 count picture, this plus Legacy linen. So pretty. I love this. This is a great sampler color too, Legacy. And I'm stitching those 2 over 2. Then this is a, this was a kit. I think it was exclusive to a Dying to Stitch retreat or something. It was gifted to me by Yvonne the Night Owl Stitcher. It is by Summer House Stitchworks. I'm not sure if it's available. And it's called, yeah, limited edition. It's called Migration. So I don't think this one is available. It's very pretty. I have this one on a little thread keep, and this is by Retromantic Fripperies on Etsy. Don't ask me how to spell that. Retromantic Fripperies. Fripperies. And that's my start. This is on a, looks like a Weeks Dye Works tin roof. I really like Weeks, like the old Weeks. I know a lot of people don't, but I like it. Okay, and then lastly, or not lastly, but in this little pile, I have, this was a Stacie Nash exclusive to the Nashville Needlework Market in, I think it was 2015 maybe. This is, it's called Cherry Hollow Farm Sampler. Occasionally you can still come across them on eBay or Etsy. This is the floss. I have it on a floss card. These are made by, are they the Primitive Hair? I believe they're the Primitive Hair. Nice and big and chunky. And it fits perfectly in this little envelope in here. But very pretty. Very pretty. So someone asked me today on Instagram if I use my thread keeps or if they're just for decoration. I use them. Sometimes I also put them out for decoration, but I do use them. And my start is very piddly. Get the right side out. That's it. That's my start. And this is also on a Weeks Dye Works. Okay, this is another Marlene bag. And this one is shameful that it's not done. This is Brenda Gervais, Grateful, Thankful, Bless, or With Thy Needle and Thread. And this was supposed to be one of my Stitch 9s. It should have been the first one I got done. It's almost done. I have the center of these corners to do. I just need to finish the wording down there. Put the flowers in her dress and the flowers on the bittersweet vine up here, pumpkin vine. And that is it. Look at, but I see, you know what I did? I did the fun part. I did the house. And that house is so beautiful. Love it. But I will finish this year. This is what I'm going to say. If I don't finish this year, I'm going to give a $100 gift card to somebody on December 31st. There's motivation for me, right? Oh, God. Please hold me to that. Okay, and then this one is in a project bag I made myself. This is a Tula Pink fabric. You may be able to find it, but it's not available anymore. Wait, no. This might have been no, this was Joann's. I got this one, Christmas Kitties. And then it's got a plaid inside. And in this one, I have the Deck the Halls. I'm considering this to be one whip. I've already got one strawberry finished, which was, I showed 2 years ago when this came out. And so I have finished this one. And I have this one as a whip, but I think I need to restart this. I was very new to stitching in hand when I started this one, and it is a mess. So people comment all the time when I'm stitching projects about how you get your your light or white threads to lay nicely. It's not the thread, it's the stitching. So here is what, because you can see here, that is not up to par for me. It was also when I wasn't using readers that had enough strength in them. So I really think that people struggle too much to try and see. So get yourself a pair of cheaters that you can actually see the holes, and then just take the time to make sure that you're going in the correct holes, and then your stitching doesn't look like this. Because this is, it's going to get redone. This piece should be big enough to stitch it again on this side, and that's probably just what I'm going to do. Because that is hideous. And that's why I haven't touched it. I have all the other fabric in here. And there's just some lace for the top that you get at Hobby Lobby. The book tells you exactly what to buy. Then I have another project bag, Donuts, another one I made for myself. This one is a Just Nan morning song. It's a little miniature band sampler. It's so cute. Farm themed. And that is where I'm at on that one. I saw Brenda Sampler Stitcher. She has finished this one too. She did it like back in the day. I have this one is shameful too. I always mean to pull it out at retreat, but I never seem to do it. This is it's a discontinued chart from the City Stitcher. It's called Too Fine Use, and I'm stitching this one with merino wools. These I purchase at Stitchville. I have a couple. These are my colors. Oops. These are the colors that I'm using here. And it's an Italian merino wool. It is Bella Lusso. I really like this. People ask me what I use. I like this. It's got a nice halo to it. It's very soft. It's beautiful. And you use one strand. You don't want to probably use it on, I wouldn't use it on anything smaller than like a 36 count. I'm doing this a 32 2 count. And it's just perfect coverage. And it gives kind of a nice fuzzy texture. And you can see here, like that, you can see my white stitching where I get every hole is very neat. It's also a bigger count of fabric. So that makes it a little easier as well. So if you don't want to wear cheaters, you know, use a bigger count of fabric. There's no rules. You don't have to stitch on 40 count if you don't want to. This is a project bag made for me by Yvonne, the Night Owl Stitcher. And this has a couple Christmas projects that I started this year. So one is a festive little redwork marking sampler, Christmas 1978 by Pineberry Lane. I just have a small start on this one. And this is a 30 count Weeks Dye Works linen. And I'm stitching it with the called for thread, whatever that is. Red thread, I hope. I don't see thread in here. It's Weeks Dye Works Red Rocks, but I'm not sure why it's not in here. Is Deck the Halls Pin Keep by Stacie Nash. And this one I'm almost done with. It's shameful. I only have the tree to finish. The tree and maybe some snowflakes. That's it. So I'll finish those up probably this Christmas. Next, this was an exclusive club kit, First Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Designs. It's a gigantic strawberry. This is my start. I'm not sure what the orientation is, but that's my start. And the thread card. Beautiful fall colors. Very autumnal. Okay, and then in this bag, this is another club kit. Heartstring Samplery, A Thankful Life, Chair Arm Pin Keep. Very pretty. Floss. Comes with all the fabric, and all I got is the border. But look at this. The finishing fabric came with it as well. Ooh, so pretty. Another Heartstring Samplery, another Housewife, and another club kit. This one is Where Liberty Dwells. And this one, I've got the inside spot for where the pins go, and that's it. I've got in a patriotic project bag. Then my next one, which is in, I made this bag. It's corn with grass. This is another club kit. I think this one might be available as well. I could be wrong, actually. Maybe it'll be a market release. You never know. Or maybe it's already out. I'm not sure. This is Grace on Thee. And Godshed. That's as far as I got. On that one, that was another Mania start. There's the floss card for that one. Okay, next is... First, I have kitted in here. I've got this is a threefer. This is Mary Clayton. It's so pretty. I really want to get started on that one. I kitted that up over the summer, and I kitted that one up with the silks. That's sad. I have silks in a Ziploc baggie. And then my fabric is what I'm not so sure about. It's a 36 count Weeks Dye Works beige, and I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that. I think it's maybe a little dark. I might have to swap that out. Also in here, which I have started, so I was fortunate enough to snag a copy of the Uffendell, not sure how to pronounce that. I always feel bad when I mispronounce a name. So I am actually stitching on Isabella. I had started that. And then I grew kind of unhappy with the colors. It's probably because Olivia B is stitching Anne, and her colors are gorgeous, and she's doing it in silks. The color palette is a little bit different, but I'm not loving this color here with the DMC version. And so I'm wondering if there's anyone who is, the colors, they're like a little springy to me. I don't know. They're not as rich. So I stopped. This is, let me show you where I got, because this is a big girl. I want to love it. This is half of it, just half. And I cut this fabric and I dyed this myself to fit this sampler in particular. So if I'm going to be stitching on it for that long, I really want to love it. And I'm just not loving this. So I'm wondering if any of you have stitched it in silk. Does it look much different than this? I'm going to start it over regardless. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at the other end. And I'm not going to go back to the DMC anyways. I mean, I bought the silks and I invested in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it. There's nothing wrong with the DMCs. I just wasn't loving the greens in particular. And maybe they'll be the same tones in the silk. I don't think so. I think they're just a titch darker. You can kind of see some of them in there, but we'll see. So I'll keep you posted. I don't have any immediate plans to go back to this because it's big. And I have a couple other smaller ones I just want to get out of the way first. And okay, and then this one. Oops. Put this chart back in here. Then I have in this one, this is a goodie. I haven't really shown any progress on this because I always feel bad when I'm posting a chart that is no longer available. And this one isn't. It is, so this was a chart that was distributed exclusively by Norden Crafts. It's called Christmas Kisses and it's by Dimple Designs. Occasionally you can still find it. This was gifted to me by a friend from Jean. She'll be happy to know I am working on it. So she brought this to the retreat finished, and it is glorious. She stitched hers on a 32 count, 2/2. It calls for some Krennic, and I loved the size of hers. And so I am stitching this also on a 32 count cream Lugana. And I actually started this over once. I had the first page done, and I was doing it with the, this is where I need some advice. So I was doing it, what's that called? The parking method. It just isn't for me. And I was getting lines, like very definitive lines if I was doing a whole column. So I'm wondering if you can suggest, those of you who are full coverage stitchers, because I'm struggling with this. So then I started to do cross country and I get lost in my pattern. Even if I'm highlighting, I just get lost on where I am. It's beautiful. I really want to get working on this. I don't know if you can really see the Krennic there, but it's so pretty. I'm about to start moving into some of the pretty colors. My start is just right up, right up here in this corner here. So that's all I've got done, but I really want to move back this, but I need some help. I don't know that I want to grid because honestly, I've tried that with another project and it just takes so much time and takes so much of my stitching time. So I don't think gridding is going to be for me either. I don't know. So if you are a full coverage stitcher or if you have any suggestions, even if they are, girl, grid it. Get over yourself and grid it. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you on that one. Okay. So that was tote number 1. Those, by the way, are ones that are, I don't want to say out of circulation, but they're not in my focus whip basket. So these next ones, these are my, my focus whips. And I'm going to start with, so this is another, you may remember, so Michelle at the Striped Rose and I had started a sal probably a year ago now. And a red sampler sal. We posted on Instagram and she actually did one. She may have done 2 or maybe 3, but we don't put pressure on each other when we sal together, which is what I love saling with her. And, we both got these books. We actually both got several books. There was a lot of enabling and a lot of shopping going on. This is a Reflet des Soies, Abecedaries Rouge. Abecedaries Rouge. Red alphabet. I can speak French. Duh. Okay, and so this is a great little booklet because it's a 5 fur. A 5 fur or a 6 fur? 1, 2, 3. It's a 5 fur. Look at all those. So these are the charts that come in the booklet. I have started on this one. No, I haven't. I'm lying. I've started on this one. That border, ooh, it's intense. It's just a lot because it's actually like 4 or 5 borders. Let me show you. So here's the 3 samplers that are in here. They're so pretty. I think this is going to be my next one. And there's this one. And then this is the one I'm currently stitching. I just love how neat and tidy it is. It's really pretty. So I started it on a very stark white fabric and my red. So I bought a hank from Silks for You. Look at this. Can you stand it? Beautiful. So incredibly reasonably priced. Silks for the number 4 and the letter U. And you can find them, I think they have an Etsy and a website, but you can just Google it. So the hanks are super, super reasonable. I think if you buy like 3 of them, you get free shipping. I want to say they're like $40, something crazy. This, I believe, PR16, I'm totally guessing. It's a little bit lighter and it has a lot of like cranberry tones, but so I'm not so sure about it, but I started on a very stark white fabric and I didn't love the fabric. I hated the fabric, in fact. So I actually washed, or I dyed it and rinsed it in some water, which may have faded the floss a little bit. I think it may have. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. But it didn't bleed. This is some stitching I did after over dyeing it then with walnut crystals. And I think I'll be able to salvage this. I think it'll be fine. You can see the linen is very washed, but I'm not giving up on this. I really like the walnut staining that I did. I just toned down that white very nicely and just gave it an old worn linen look, which I really like. So I'm hoping to finish that this year. It's part of my Stitch 10 and 20. And I really don't think, alphabets just don't take that long. This is not an alphabet that will torture anyone because you're using just one thread color. There might be a lot of starting and stopping, but at least you don't have to swap threads every time you start one. Okay, and then next, I talked about this one before. This is part of my Stitch 9 fail. This is the Summer Schoolhouse series by With Thy Needle and Thread. Here are they all together. And I'm stitching this 1/1 on a 32 count or 28 count. I don't remember. 28 count platinum linen. I switched a couple colors, which I'm not sure how I feel about. And it's, I might need to pull out this blue for the birds. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of pretty. It's springy, but there's almost too much contrast there. I think I didn't have the blue. I don't remember what blue I used. So this is just going to be a project. And I think I mentioned before that I made a mistake here. I forgot to include the leaf. And so I stitched over the roof, which I've done before, but that one little thread is kind of hanging out there and driving me crazy. But to stitch, to pull out those stitches when you're stitching over one, it's not so bad on a 28 count, but I mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to take that out. So I'll probably just have to take out that leaf and take out the entire roof is the problem. But can't be helped. And then if I'm in the mood to pull out, I might as well pull out the blues because I don't love those either. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. This is my taco bag that I made. The inside is tomatoes. And in here is a goodie. I love this one. This is Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. If you've seen my dyeing tutorial, I actually dyed this fabric for this piece in that tutorial. Somebody recently asked me about that too. I said I was going to do a whip parade. So this is the fabric that I dyed in that tutorial. It's perfect for this piece. So here's where I am. I've got the border about, I'd say maybe 2/3 done. I have learned my lesson and I am back stitching as I go. And doing the little krennic. I'm saving the beads for last. There is a little bit of beading. And I don't know if there's a good way to show you this. Anyways, okay, so there's a little tombstone. So I've got the tree is done and back stitched. This, and then I've just got the horse's head. And this is water lilies, silk, and this is a moon that's going in the background there. So very pretty. I love this. Love that horse. This is so fun. This is a really fun project. Hopefully, I will get that finished this fall. I don't know. There's a lot left to do. That's a lot. Basically have all of this to do. The moon won't be much because that's just so basic. That kind of stitching is pretty fast. But, and I am stitching this one. Kind of requires me, this type of stitching requires me to put it in a Q-snap. So I am doing that. And I have the beads and everything all in here. And that one is just stitched with DMC except for the water lilies for the moon. But it's so fun. I really love that one. Okay, then in my, this is my Susie Reno project bag. This is a Sandy Gervais fabric. And it's, I believe it's the Ugly Sweater line. And then on the inside is little martini glasses. And, okay, let's see what we've got here. This is a Blackbird design, Feliz Navidad. Look at my chart, it's just so sad. Okay, I have moaned and groaned about this long enough, but the thing that's holding me back with this one is that alphabet. Alphabets, plural. Lots of color changes, multiple alphabets. Not my jam, but why? Why am I so attracted to these? Because they're so pretty. And it's got my colors. It's got blues and reds together, which I love. I'm not feeling this white. I dyed this fabric myself, and I dyed it to match the color that was on the cover. But of course, you know how that goes. It doesn't always match the actual called for fabric. But this is so beautiful. So I will get that done. I'm a little bit farther. So pretty. Love that. Oh. Okay, so here is my, this is Plum Street Sampler, American Sampler. So pretty. This one, I made a big mistake, and then that just always hangs me up. I did tear it out this time. Okay, so this is the roof where it's a variegated thread, and some of it I stitched one thread at a time, and some of it I did long lengths of going this way and then coming back and crossing it. And you can't tell which is which. It's perfect for a roof. And then that's how far I am. This was also one of my first projects that I started while I was when I was learning to stitch in hand. I love this. This is, what is this? Kitty. Calico Kitty or Calico Kitty or something. I love the variegation in that. A lot of people change this to a brighter red, but I really kind of like the worn feel that with that color palette. It's so pretty. Okay, so that one is in project bag. I made these little trucks. And next is in my Linda Jo Pretty Southern bag, which is so beautiful. And this is a William Morris fabric. I believe that's what she said. This has also been a new start for me for this year. And this is a Moira Blackburn. It's called A Farmer's Prayer or Farmer's Prayer. This is still available. And just see, the verse is really sweet. It says, "Let the wealthy and the great roll in splendor and state. I envy them not, I declare it. I eat my own lamb, my chickens and ham. I shear my own fleece and I wear it. I have lawns, I have bowers, I have fruits, I have flowers. The lark is my morning alarmer. So jolly boys now, hear Godspeed the plow. Long life and success to the farmer." I love it. I love the border is corn. What I don't like, let's see, when is this from? Okay, I don't see a date down here anywhere. Okay, I don't see a date on it, but it's a little, the color palette is a little dated. I am stitching it on a Weeks Dye Works Cocoa, which is very, I love the color of the fabric. I don't love the greens. It's very huntery green, and then it's got purple, which I do not like purple. And then it's got this kind of like rusty red and then a gold. And it's just, there's some corn. The border is just like, ugh. But I'm sure it will look fantastic once I get it done. But this is where, and then I also, that green, I didn't love the green. And this kind of hunter green is what was supposed to, the lettering was supposed to be stitched in. And I swapped it to 310 after getting advice from Joshua. And so that's that. But I love this one. I want to get that done this year. Oh, this is on my Stitch 10 and 20. So this is a chart that Brenda Gervais designed just for me. I like to think this goat has kind of a long face. So I like to think that it's Chloe because Chloe had a long face. And I did start it. Okay, I just want to show you close up for those of you who haven't seen. And no, it's not available and it won't be available. The other thing is Brenda charts in DMC and then she pulls the overdyes as she goes. And, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of matching it and overdyed to the DMC, that is not a gift of mine, but I am already on the border and I have just struggled. I think I pulled it out actually. I did. I tried like a DMC black 310 and it was just too much. You can see where I pulled my threads out. That's as far as I got. And then I put it away because I got a little frustrated. But so I just needed to, I need to find a darker or a lighter, but dark color. So maybe like 898 or something like that. Okay, and then this is my kitty fabric that is a Tula pink, and I love the inside of it. It's cat food cans. So cute. And this in here is the Village of Cochrane Hollow. Okay, this is, I started this one maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Actually, I haven't touched it in at least over a year. And I have 5 blocks done. I'm stitching this on a Lakeside Linen Vintage Maple Sugar on a 40 count. And very cute. Otherwise, I sometimes substituted some silks from my, the packs that I have from Dinky Dyes that I get off on their Etsy when they have those little flash sales. And some, like this block, I'm pretty sure I just did all DMC. Nope, actually I used some silks in that as well. So pretty. I'm leaving, this next block here is my favorite block. So it's the little red house right here. Ooh. I feel like those are goats. Don't they look like goats, not dogs? So I'm really looking forward to getting back to that. This is one of those though that because it's a 40 count, it requires me to put it in, and a Lakeside linen, it requires me to put it in a Q-snap. And on the stand it goes. But I'd like to, my goal I think is probably to get a block or two of that done this year. And then next in my birdie project bag, and inside is plaid. This one I made as well. This is my LW Motif Sampler. Lots of people have finished that. This was a stitch along for Lindsay Carroll, the Saltbox Stitcher's daughter. Why I have a Christmas thread keep on here, I don't know. This is also from LaDonna Samplings and Memories. And here's all the pretty floss. And just like everyone else, I cannot tell my Lexington Green from the Mountain Mist. So I just chose one. That is where I'm at. And there was actually like Raspberry Parfait or something that I couldn't get. So I kind of stalled out there. But I did find it. And I have that now. And so I can pick that up again at any time. And I'm stitching this one on a 36 count R&R Winter's Brew. Is a Prairie Schooler. This is Barnyard Christmas. These cute little ornaments that will look adorable on my tree. I'm stitching it on a 32 count. It's a Witchoat Lamb's Wool, which is... And I have 3 of the 8 done. And I'm just going to stitch them all in each of one of the little folded squares there. And I'm just stitching them in the DMC. I put an udder on the cow because... or a pink udder, because otherwise, you know, she looked like she was full of worms. Said that before. Okay, and we're getting there, Next I have, this was a class project from Stitch Camp. From the Country Sampler. This is it was Chessie and me and Blackbird Designs. I haven't started the Blackbird Designs yet because I need to finish this. But we also got this little tote in class. It's so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? So I need to finish. I've almost got the front finished, and then this is the inside. Came with all the fabric. So this is half of it. This is just for the housewife, and I'm to the bottom. I was a little nervous. I was going to run out of fabric, but it's perfect. And so I just think I have this motif to do and maybe one little thing around here somewhere. So this is beautiful. And then that will be done. This is... This was a gift from my friend Kathy. This is Cats on Parade by Blackbird Designs. It is a lot of stitching. I have 2 of the 3 cats done. The fence is no joke. It's like dense stitching. So, but it's so pretty. Love that. And I'm going to finish it in a drum. Kathy has hers all done, and she did such a great job finishing it. Looks fantastic. And it's just stitched with a Gentle Arts espresso bean, which is not black. It's kind of a brown, but it's a beautiful, it's just perfect. Isn't that pretty? This is a beautiful Kathy Barrick Heaven and Nature sing. And then there's the swan that she did next. And I have that one as well. And I totally want to stitch that one. This is so beautiful. It's the white in the trees up here that is driving me crazy. But I did get some work on it. This was also my little mini scissors. So cute. This was also a Stitch 9 challenge piece that I failed at. I did get some stitches in it though this year. I got all those trees done. And still headless. And I'm just stitching this in the DMC. I did swap out the deer color for a darker. I think am I doing it in 3371 or 898? Because when I pulled, it's charted in silks, and I'm just doing it on a 36 count platinum linen, and I'm doing that one 2/2 because I wanted it to be really dense. And then this one is Maria Finney, which is a club kit through the Kindred Sampler. It's a chart by Teresa Vanette of Shakespeare's Peddler, aka Kitten Stitcher. I believe she said she's going to release this at market. So if this is something that you want to stitch, you should be able to find that. I think I've heard from a couple people, I'm nowhere near there, that the white, you need two skeins of that, which is, I don't remember what it is. Either dove or fawn, I believe. So I made a huge mistake on the border. So I've essentially stitched 1.5 borders and I had to tear it out. But back on track. I really love this. It's on a beautiful linen. Again, I love the Weeks Dye Works linen. I love it for this in particular because it's a reproduction sampler and she charted it to look like the antique from the front, not the back. So it's really the faded colors, which I think is beautiful. And I think this fabric choice is just perfect for it. So I have the border almost complete after having to pull it out and restitch it. And then I have some of the alphabet, which I love. It just looks like so old and faded. So pretty. So tip from me to you. Love this one. I just love it. I love the Weeks Dye Works. I just find it so enjoyable to stitch on. Let me show you the beautiful thread colors. Look at that. Okay, so here is the color you should need 2 skeins of. It's fawn. I have another beautiful stitch marker from, I have all the farm ones from LaDonna, Samplings and Memories. There's a sheep, more sheep. I think the horse one in that line is my favorite. Okay. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, here. Oh, speaking of which, here it is. It's at the bottom of my basket. And it's got some cute little charms. And then I also have one sitting here on my desk. This is also one of hers. I'm not sure if she still has these anymore. But that is also a sampling of memories. There. Okay, and then lastly, this was my New Year's Eve start. I was enabled by Sheila of the Sunshine Stitchers. This is a Madame Lefay. And it's in French, something of the mountains. So pretty. So I have basically this window section almost, not almost complete, but a good chunk of it. What am I stitching this on? It's a 32 count. And the fabric was gifted to me by Marcy. I don't know that I have a tag in here, but it's a Picture This Plus. Earthen, I believe it is. Let me... 2 threads over 2 threads. And there's my progress. So pretty. So this is all complete here. And I'm working down here. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. I love that. Love it. Yes. I get bored with that snow. Otherwise, it's beautiful. If you stuck around thus far, I thank you very much. I'm also may include, if I don't, I'll just edit this out, but I do have a video of a doe having a baby. She is a yearling, which means this is her first baby, and first babies hurt more than the next ones do. So word of caution, she's very vocal, which is not unusual. Goat births are very quick. It probably lasted 10 minutes. And the pushing of that big buckling's head out was the worst part for her. And once that kid was out, she was totally fine. She's doing great now. She's a beautiful doe. She has a beautiful udder on her. She's going to be a permanent member of my herd. She's the daughter of my beloved Trista. And if you are not comfortable watching that, then please don't watch it. So I'm going to put it at the very end. So I will put in the clip from Wool Socks and Hollyhocks, and then I will put that after that. Then I'm going to post separately if I get time, because this video is so crazy long. I will post separately the tutorial if I get it done. I'm not making any promises that I can do that. And then I'll be able to provide, because I cannot answer all the questions that I'm getting on social media about the links and about where I source my materials. So if I do the tutorial, if I get time in the next week, I will do my best, and I will post all of the links for my sources and supply list there. And so thank you for sticking around. Thanks for participating in any stitch alongs, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great night. Bye, everybody. Okay, so I'm at Wool Socks and Hollyhocks in, is it Princeton? In Princeton, Minnesota. It's such an incredible shop. So the kit that I bought, here it is finished. And she has the world's largest supply of wool. So pretty. Lots of kits and lots of these crane designs patterns. So here is here's the kit for that one. And $99 on that one. Comes with all the wool. And then there's this one is the one I'm going to do next. Love this. And then here's a fall one. It's hanging on the wall too. Look at these hens. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. The little rooster. And he's pulling the cart with chickens. More kits. Look at all these cuts. They're so pretty. And you guys, look what I found. These are old Buttermilk Basin. I didn't know Stacie used to design rug hooking patterns. I've actually seen this one. I didn't realize that it was. So this is identical to what's in her recent book. So cute. Old tattered flag. Love that. How cute. And then these are all Crane Designs kits. This one's really pretty with the birds. That's really cute too. Fish. Look at those. Aren't those incredible? Wool.
Fish is sample.
Oh, is it?
Don't know if I can talk.
Look how pretty. Look at all the wool. Oh, there it is. Yep, so there it is all done. Look at the texture on that. That is really cool. These patterns have really detailed, great explanations. And then here is the autumn one. Look at all this amazing stuff. Lots of books. You'll definitely find whatever you need in here. Lots of quilt patterns. So cute. Such fun stuff. Oh, this is really adorable. There's some strips that are pre-cut. The little sheepies. Oh, this is, I just love this. Look at this fish. It's rug hooked. Isn't that fantastic? All right, there you go. Super fun shop. Happy Friday. We have babies on the way. On my lunch break. Isn't that nice of them? She's got a ways to go yet. Okay, so I probably won't be able to film this whole thing because my battery's going to die, but here's what we're looking for. Everything is going well. It's just, she's a yearling, so this is her first baby. And it's a good-sized kid. We can tell by, these are the front hooves coming out. And if you reach your finger in right here, I can feel a little face there. So I feel a little mouth and nose. And so we're just going to let her push it. I know, babe. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, this is a big buck kid for sure. Welcome to the world, little dude. I know, Mama. You're all right. I know, Mama. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. One more pig push and you got it. I'm just gonna help straighten out this arm. There we go. There. Oh. Okay, Mama. Oh, there. And that's right, it's another boy. Hi, little man. Yeah. We're gonna give him to Mama. So she can get drying him off. And let's see. I don't feel another one in there. Yeah, good girl. He's long and leggy. He's gonna be tall like his mama. Look at those long legs on him. Henry. What are you doing, Henry? That's the goat's tote. I don't think she likes you in there.
I don't think she likes you in there. He's made himself pretty comfy.